I'm gonna get it. Got it. Hey, what's up? I'm Miles and welcome back. And we are bringing it back a little bit old school for this video. And what I mean by old school is not really old school because I have only had a YouTube channel for like 2 years. But these are videos that I made a lot at like my earlier YouTube stage, and I really want to get back into doing them because they are so much fun and I feel like people can learn a lot from them. Before I started making YouTube videos, these were the videos that I was obsessed with and watched as just a viewer, and I really want to make more of them going forward. And I also promised people like last October that I would make this video, but I just struggled to find a time when the weather was nice back then. So it's summer now, so I could do it. Anyway, if you're new around here, you might be wondering what videos I'm referring to. I'm referring to the repaint videos, to the collectible videos, where basically I take one of the cheap knockoff like Party City items that you find online and I try to turn it into something cool. I've done this with a few different things. I've done it with a Buzz Lightyear and Zurg figure where I took very cheap Amazon toys and repainted them to look like they were model custom collectibles. Both of those were listed up for sale on Etsy. Buzz Lightyear sold, but Zurg is still available if anyone wants that. I've also done the same with a Scream ghost face mask where I took just a basic Party City mask and turned it into the battle damage Scream 6 mask. And of course my favorite repaints being Nerf guns or just like prop blasters. I've done a basic Colt, I've done a Nerf gun for Halloween, and my favorite one is I did a custom Nerf blaster for my B127 cosplay. So for this video we're keeping it simple, we're keeping it bare bones, we're bringing it back to the Colt M1911. You might be asking, if you've done these cool Nerf projects and you want to show a cool one, why are you keeping it bare bones with this simple pistol? That's for two reasons. Number one, like I said, I wanted to reintroduce this style of video to my channel. The idea of taking something cheap and painting it to look something professional. And the best way to do that is to pick the simplest item I can and show everybody how to do it. So you can go into this video with practically no experience and turn a super cheap looking prop like this into something real. The second reason is banking on the idea of it being cheap. This is by far the cheapest blaster I could find. So I really want to bank on the fact that this is a cheap, bare bones video that anyone can do. So let's get to it. The goal for this video is to use basic paint and methods to turn this cheap looking prop into something real in a simple enough way that anybody can do it, with the only experience you need being watching this video and following along. So to break it down for this video, the materials you're gonna need are incredibly simple. So step one is you're gonna need obviously whatever prop that you're using. Our example for this is the basic Colt. You're also gonna need some sandpaper for some light sanding before we get into painting. Then for painting, we're sticking it very simple. We're just going basic rattle can. So for that, I choose Rust-Oleum 2X. It's never failed me in the past. Going to need a flat gray primer or whatever primer color you choose. Then after that, you can kind of pick whatever color you want the blaster to be. So for me, I'm going to go with a basic flat black to give that standard look of a normal Colt. And I'm also going to be using an ultra matte white to give a nice stripe on this side. Now the white stripe is completely optional. I'm just doing that for stylistic purposes. If you want to go for the more classic gunmetal metallic finish, there is a way to do that. And I've done it in a few videos in the past. Basically, the way you do it is right after you use the flat black, you use a graphite powder and you dab it on. So step one is to use some sandpaper to get all of the raised lettering off of whatever prop you're using. So for this, it's incredibly simple. We're just getting this raised lettering off and giving the whole blaster just a basic scuff so the paint has something to grab onto. Alright, now we're going to take it outside to hit it with a layer of primer. So when you're priming and you're spraying on your spray paint, you want to make sure you're not getting too close to the actual prop. Keep it about a foot, maybe a foot and a half away, and don't hold down on the nozzle. Give nice, even sprays, even strokes over the whole thing. If you need to do a couple coats, that's fine, but don't get too close and bubble it up because that's how you get a really crappy texture. Alright, I just realized I sprayed both sides, so I can't really put it down yet. so we got our coat of flat black on there, and that is going to be our base coat. Now, if you wanted to get a gunmetal metallic finish, you wanted to make it look like a real metal prop, the next step you would do is to take some graphite powder and a basic chip brush, dip it in there, and pat all the way through, wipe it off, and then clear coat. Super simple and easy, but I've done this in other videos before. I'll link those down below if you want to check that out. That's not what I want to do for this one, because I've already done it. For this one, what I'm going to do is just a basic black and white design. I've already painted the grips white, but I want to tape off the slide rail up here and get that white as well. So let's get it. Okay, we are on the absolute home stretch. We have one final step before clear coating and then we are done. Obviously, there was a little bit of hiccups through the paint method. That's not really a big deal. That happens sometimes. You got to go back in with a finer brush and do some touch-ups. I'm also not 1000% happy with that touch-up, so I might go back over and redo it a second time. As well as I did notice this weird texture of the paint when I applied the white. It looked like the paint kind of clashed there, but then it went smooth on the rest of it. So the last step we have is my favorite step of all when I'm doing a prop like this, and it is dry brushing. So if you don't know what dry brushing is, let me cook real quick and show you. Dry brushing is the most fun step because it takes a prop that kind of looks real and really bumps up the realism factor of it. Essentially what it is you take a silver or metallic paint, put the paint on a flat tip brush, something like this normally works the best. You put the silver paint on it and then you pretty much dab it almost all off until the brush is practically dry, therefore making it a dry brush. Take that dry brush and go over all of the high points, the raised edges, and all of the detailing that you want to look like exposed metal. It's a super fun and addicting step, but it is very easy to get carried away on it. So I'm going to try my best to keep it minimalistic, not go too overboard, but if you're doing this step and you want to go crazy, go for it. And just like that, there we have it. With a few super simple, easy, and cheap steps, you can turn an incredibly cheap, basic looking toy into something that looks a lot more professional, that you can use for your costumes, cosplays, conventions, photo shoots, whatever you may do. The methods that we used in this video for this Colt Blaster can be applied to pretty much any prop that has the same material, which is the basic plastic that is used in almost every Nerf gun. So if you see a cool Nerf gun or toy blaster in the store that you think is really cool, and you think that you can repaint it and give it a better paint job, which you probably can, the basic paint jobs suck, the methods we used in this video can apply there too. And definitely feel free to get creative. There's not really any limitations other than the fact that you sand it, prime it, paint it, and then do whatever you want with it. Throw some paint jobs on there, throw some designs on there. You got interesting with this one with that cool little contrast black and white combo, but this is pretty simple compared to the stuff that you guys could do if you really get creative with it. Now also, PSA, I do feel obliged to mention, this is obviously a toy. It looked like a toy when we started, but it does not look like a toy now. We have painted it to look real. That was kind of the idea, was to take a toy and paint it to look real. However, even though we know it is a toy, that doesn't mean that your friend or your neighbor or a stranger that you're gonna point it at knows it's a toy. So if you're going to follow along in this video and take a toy blaster, especially one that is modeled after a realistic firearm, and paint it to look more realistic, please make sure you are using it with caution, not doing anything stupid like pointing it at somebody you don't know. If you know the person, then sure, point it, shoot a dart at their forehead, whatever. But you know what I mean, don't be stupid. If you're going to a convention, obviously make sure to get it checked, get it tagged. If you're going out for a public photo shoot, make sure you paint down an orange tip or put some tape on the barrel. Anyway, I'm pretty sure that you were expecting an outro at this point, but I got a little something for you. At the moment, we are about 4 months away from October, and October 1st, I promised the secret cosplay would be revealed. And I said that throughout this year, I would be giving hints as to what the secret cosplay is. In a couple past videos that I've posted throughout this year, I have given those hints. And since we're getting closer to the actual release day, I told you all that the hints would start to mean a lot more as we got closer. We started off with some vague hints, and they're slowly gonna get more specific. So, your hint for this video is the cosplay is not Star Wars related. As always with the other tips, I am not allowed to go into depth or explain it at any capacity. That is simply at face value what you get. Thank you again so much for watching. Make sure to share this video, and if you give it a try and repaint a Nerf gun or a blaster like this, make sure to share it on Instagram and tag me. I would love to see it. Thank you for 50K, giving away another spider suit at 75K. So peace and love, do good things, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.
Yeah, Spider-Man!